All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Welcome to the Film Room, everyone. I am going to be your head coach today, and we are breaking down the exam game tape to show you exactly what Cambridge examiners are looking for in the 2027 Arabic Language 8680 essay topics. We are treating this syllabus, which covers law and order, health and fitness, travel and tourism, scientific and medical advancements, and pollution, just like a high-stakes championship game. Because honestly, the difference between a B grade and an A star often comes down to how well you understand the opposition's playbook. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to read their defense. We're going to look at tape from two classic student archetypes. First, we've got Alex. Now, Alex plays a really heavy defense, but completely lacks open-ended essay speed. Alex is what we call a knowledge dumper. Then we have Sam. Sam is a fast attacker, super aggressive, but gets notoriously sloppy when executing command words. By studying their tape, we're going to optimize your strategy so you can score maximum marks.
So let's pull up our tactical playbook right here and see how we're going to build a complete winning strategy from theoretical foundations all the way to game day execution. We're going to kick things off with our scouting report on the examiner rubrics. Then we'll move into our tactical playbook for structuring answers. After that, we're breaking down the tape on past penalties, making a crucial halftime adjustment, and finishing strong with game day execution for your core topics. Let's get right to it.
Section 1. The Scouting Report. Look, to defeat our opponent, which in this case is the examiner's marking rubric, we first need to scout their defensive strategies and really understand the core principles of the exam. You absolutely cannot win the game if you don't know how the points are actually scored.
3. That is the magic number. The assessment objectives for this paper target exactly 3 distinct cognitive domains: knowledge and understanding, analysis, and evaluation. Now let's look at our first player, Alex, on the tape. Alex spends 80% of the essay just dumping knowledge. Alex knows literally every single vocabulary word for travel and tourism in Arabic. But the examiner is designed specifically to block mere knowledge dumping. To break through that line, you have to hit all 3 domains. You must state the facts, yes, but then you have to analyze how they interact and finally evaluate their overarching significance. If you only play the knowledge game, you are literally leaving 2/3 of your potential score sitting out there on the field.
Now this is where things get really interesting. The principal examiner reports tell us flat out that integrating topics is the ultimate key to unlocking an A star. Let's listen to the tape again. Alex gets a prompt and thinks, okay, I'll just write about health and fitness. But Sam sees the open field and says, wait a minute, I'm going to connect health and fitness directly to travel and tourism by discussing the economic impacts of medical tourism. Boom! That is exactly what the examiners want to see. The entire theoretical architecture of the 2027 syllabus rests on causal relationships and integration with other syllabus areas, showing exactly how pollution affects law and order, or how scientific advances fundamentally impact health and fitness is the championship play that gets you to the top tier.
Section 2. The Tactical Playbook. With the theory established, we need a reliable, repeatable system for scoring points under immense pressure. This is where we translate our scouting report into a high-scoring offensive drive.
So, the crucial point here is that you must show your analytical working to capture these process marks. You have to prove your logical, structured reasoning to the examiner. Let's go back to the tape. Sam is our fast attacker, remember? Sam rushes straight to the conclusion, writing something like, scientific and medical advances are good for society. But wait, I'm throwing a penalty flag right there. Why? Because Sam didn't show the work. The method mark strategy means the examiner is explicitly rewarding the process of your reasoning. It's like a math test. You don't just write the final number. You have to explicitly link your evidence to your conclusion. You must write out the why and the how, not just the what.
And this brilliantly illustrates our 6-step procedural framework. You have to meticulously deconstruct the stimulus materials, extract the key data, select your analytical framework, execute with clear notation, verify your results, and present them correctly. When you're dealing with a complex 15-mark topic like law and order, you don't just start writing blindly. You pause. You deconstruct the command words. You extract the specific context. If the prompt is about cybercrime, your selected framework must address digital law enforcement, not just traditional street policing. Following this exact 6-step routine ensures you systematically cover all the assessment objectives without fumbling the ball under pressure.
Section 3. Breaking down the tape. Let's head back into the film room to analyze past mistakes directly from the principal examiner reports. We do this so you do not commit these exact same penalties. This is where we learn from the ghosts of past exams.
Listen up, because these are the top 3 red flags that cost students massive marks. Let's run the tape on Sam again. The prompt asks for an article format discussing scientific and medical advances specifically in a developing country.
Sam, being the fast attacker, writes a brilliant, highly analytical, argumentative essay about global medical trends. Whistle, penalty on the play. Sam used the wrong approach, the completely wrong format, and the answer wasn't specific to the assigned context. Let me be clear, if your analysis isn't tied specifically to the context provided in the stimulus, you will lose major points regardless of how flawless your Arabic grammar and vocabulary are. You have to play the game according to the specific rules established by the prompt.
Before we move on to our interactive drill, I need you to remember this absolutely critical warning. Candidates consistently confuse key terminology, so you must establish precise definitions immediately. Look at Alex on the tape here. Alex starts an essay on pollution by jumping straight into policy recommendations. But what kind of pollution are we even talking about? Air, water, noise? The principal examiner reports absolutely scream about this issue. If you don't define your terms in the opening paragraph, the rest of your essay is basically built on quicksand. You have to define the boundaries of your argument right at the kickoff.
Okay, let's run a live training drill. I want you to imagine a 60-second visual timer right now. Pause this explainer if you need to, take a close look, and try to spot the technical error in how this student approached the evaluation prompt. The student wrote, "Travel and tourism brings a lot of money to the economy. However, pollution ruins the environment. Therefore, tourism is both good and bad." All right, did you spot the penalty? They completely missed the evidence and the causal integration. They just stated two isolated basic facts and slapped an incredibly weak conclusion on the end of it. There is literally zero evidence-based reasoning happening here.
And this brilliantly illustrates the exact difference on the tape. The B-grade response on the left, our heavy defense Alex, just lists superficial facts about pollution. It's wide, but it is incredibly shallow. But look at the right side. The A-star response successfully integrates cross-topic causal relationships. This student writes, "Industrial pollution directly diminishes public health and fitness by increasing respiratory illnesses, which in turn places a massive financial burden on the state, demonstrating that environmental policy is inherently tied to medical infrastructure." Wow, that is a championship-winning sentence. It perfectly connects pollution to health and fitness, and it justifies the connection with a tight, logical chain of evidence.
Section 4. The halftime adjustment. Time out, blow the whistle, listen up, team. If you want to stay at the absolute top of the league table this exam season, you need to subscribe to Ace the Exams at Ace the Exams and enable all notifications right now. Okay, halftime is over. Let's get back on the field. Let's resume with a tactical playbook play to conquer those intricate, high-level evaluation prompts where both Alex and Sam usually hit a massive roadblock.
Okay, let's dive into this deconstruct, solve, evaluate playbook. This is basically our Peel formula evolved for the big leagues. When you hit a complex problem, say evaluating the ethical boundaries of scientific and medical advances against the strict demands of law and order, you absolutely cannot just wing it. First, deconstruct. Identify the given information and break it down into logical steps. Second, solve. Apply your systematic process and execute real, evidence-based reasoning. Finally, evaluate. Check the reasonability of your claims and make justified recommendations. This exact framework forces you to question assumptions, consider different perspectives, and justify every single decision with hard evidence. It ensures you never, ever leave the analytical domain. Now, when you are evaluating travel and tourism against law and order, for instance, analyzing how massive tourist influxes impact local crime rates, you must follow these strict rules of critical analysis. You can't just list the pros of tourism and the cons of crime and call it a day. You must identify both similarities and differences in how they affect a society. You must utilize clear, sophisticated comparative connectives in your Arabic writing. You must support each comparison with specific evidence, and most importantly, you have to draw hard conclusions about their relative importance. Demonstrate true evaluative depth rather than just summarizing the facts. Don't let the examiner guess what your conclusion is. You have to force that conclusion across the goal line.
Section 5. Game Day Execution. This is the fourth quarter. We've scouted the rubric, we've learned the plays, and we've analyzed the tape. Let's move to our final strategy and see how this all builds our ultimate game day plan so you can walk into that exam hall completely prepared to execute perfectly.
Here is your championship recap. You need to execute this exact checklist to ensure you apply the correct professional skills, terminology, and systematic processing that the examiner rubric demands. Before you even walk into that room, you must have your core conceptual definitions for law and order, health, tourism, science, and pollution fully memorized. You must mentally plan your cross-topic connections in advance. Know exactly how you will link pollution to health or science to law. Practice that 6-step procedural framework until it's absolute muscle memory. And on the day, during the exam, force yourself to double-check the context and formatting demanded by the prompt. Don't be like Sam and lose easy points on a sloppy format penalty.
Think deeply about how you are preparing today. Are you just memorizing vocabulary, or are you actually training to execute the plays the Cambridge examiners want to see? Review the tape we just watched, adjust your strategy accordingly, and make sure you hit that subscribe bell for Ace the Exams at Ace the Exams. Drop your current tier and your goal grade in the comments below, and let us know which syllabus topic you find the most challenging to tackle. Train hard, stick to the playbook, and I'll see you in the next Explainer Masterclass.